Hey guys, what's up? Alright, so today I'm going to be explaining to you guys a little bit about Diane's experience. I actually tried making this video around a year ago, back when I thought the original script was going to be the script I was going to use. Now, we obviously know what happened, and I had to write the script a third time to actually get it to work. Alright, so without any distractions, because I have my animals here, so they're a little bit okay, so let's get it started. The first film, Diane's experience. Let me play the scene out. It starts off with Diane getting accepted to become a photographer. I really wanted a photography type of thing. Actually, this concept, Tommy, stop it. So this concept of Diane becoming a photographer actually was an idea that I was trying to give to somebody else. So I have a friend named Althea. She's been in my videos before, a while back now, but yeah. So she wanted to become, she's a photographer. And I was like, ooh, I was like, maybe they should do film, because she was still in the media program. So I kind of gave her this idea, oh, maybe there should be a character about being a photographer, because, she's a photographer. So I thought, oh, maybe she could do it, but she didn't want to, and she didn't care. So I was like, you know what? This is a good concept. I'm gonna use it. So I used it, but that was just a small element of the actual story. The story is about this doll. And so I used that aspect to get to the doll. And I thought it's kind of a cool, perfect way to do that, because Diane needs to explore, take photos of weird places. So she got to go to this warehouse. This warehouse we used for in hiding in the first season and the second season, but originally it was in the first season, and oh boy, I was excited for that. But anyway, the film, if you guys watched the first film, you guys know that it was very limited. It was just Diane meets doll, gets followed, goes home. Brian does not believe anything she says and gets help from Lisa, which we see at the end. And she was actually, Lisa's the first character that isn't played by me to be in my film. The second film, the one thing I love about the second film was that it went from 3 characters to 7 characters. That is awesome. I was so happy that we got to have 7 characters. So yeah, 7 characters were in the second film, and I wanted a larger cast because I could only do so much. I didn't want to play all the roles, so I really was relying on my friends to join in on the fun of this world. So the film starts out with Diane staying over Lisa's house. Now Diane has this paranoia because of the events that happened a year ago for her. My dog tried to knock me over, sorry. About this doll, the paranoia about this doll, that it's gonna come back. So basically she's scared that something's gonna happen to her, and she tells Lisa about it, and Lisa doesn't believe her. She's like, it was a year ago, all that's said and done, it's over, you don't have to be worried about it. And so she's like, fuck you, I'm leaving. So she leaves, and she goes to Steve's work place, because it's the film crew's workstation or whatever. As you see, they were doing a little photo shoot. So Diane goes in there to go search up, which I wish I delved and got more focus on what she was searching up. She was actually for witch doctors, and seeing if she can get rid of the spirits or the bad energy, because that's what she's been feeling, this weird presence of a certain doll. So she goes and visits a witch doctor named Mrs. Babushka. It was just a random, I didn't even think it was an actual name. I knew I heard it from somewhere, but I don't even know where it's from. But I know that name exists. I didn't make up the name, but it does sound like a made up name, right? Come on, it does, right? It does. Anyway, so basically she goes and gets help from her, and she tells her that you breaking the seal has kind of changed the laws of reality. Now the spirit and the doll, the doll and the spirit has broken into their world and became more of a physical being, even though they're still dead. I got really thirsty. I talked too much. I did this 5 times. Alright, so and now I have to pee, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna sit through this. Alright, she tells her that the spirit has broken into their world, and now, now their reality is a little bit different. because of Diane's dumbass decided to take the bracelet that sealed the ghost. And so we get our first human ghost, Alex, played by Samaya. Now, we don't get a name drop because we didn't have time to kind of delve into the characters and all that stuff, and I'll get into that in the Diane 3. But right now, so sorry if my head got like something down to the top. My dog pushed the tripod and I'm too lazy to fix it. All right, so basically in the second, I mean in the Mrs. Babushka's part, once Alex is like, she's crying over the doll, and we kind of don't know too much about it. Like, she's like, I need my doll, like, where's my doll, like, can you give me back my doll? Like, they feel together, and in a way they are. So Diane kind of like gives her like this weird promise that she'll give her back her doll. Then like a weird flash happens and she doesn't remember anything that happened and wakes up home. This was kind of like my lazy attempt to get her back home because I didn't know how the fuck I was gonna get her back home. But basically, she kind of like blacked out. Like the ghost kind of like not the ghost, but the doll sent her back home to retrieve her. And she was kind of like in this like weird dream-like state, like she wasn't fully like awake, basically. Like towards the end, Diane goes and brings the doll. Instead of bringing it to the person that she promised to bring it to, she brought it over to the warehouse where she originally got it from. Now, when she goes into the, like, you know, when she goes there, it doesn't work out because she kind of get like trapped in this loop. And that's because she's kind of like, the ghost is not letting her leave. And when she asks like, what do you want? She kind of transports Diane to where Brian is, if you think about it. She teleports her. She wakes up in Brian's apartment where he disappeared. She wakes up in the bathtub, which you see in the third film. Now, I'll get to the little lore stuff later and kind of like all the little Easter eggs and things like that to kind of bring the whole thing together. But right now I'm just like going through a summary of basically what happens and my thoughts about it. Well, most of it. So yeah, she brings the doll, like she goes and asks what the doll wants. The doll gives her a backstory about a man killing Alex and her, and also like he kills Alex because she was helping, like what we see with Diane is trying to help the doll run like leave because that was his first victim, and then the girl comes in and also tries to save her, like get her to, and then Alex dies too, so that's why she's a ghost, but like they're together. And I'll get to it. I was gonna like spoil the ending. Okay, so basically that happens. Now in 3 we get, I'm not gonna explain the whole thing of 3 because 3 is like the longest film, so I'm gonna skip over some parts. So in the beginning we get it takes place 3 weeks later. I didn't know why I want it that way. That's just how it is. So it takes place 3 weeks later, and Diane is, she's so upset. Like, Brian is gone. He's been gone for like 3 weeks. She feels like it's the doll's fault, but she doesn't know, okay? So she goes over to Steve's place to talk about it, like talk about the report and seeing if she can post it out there, kind of give a little bit more insight about who Brian is, seeing if someone can find him. And that's where she kind of gives out the theory to Steve and kind of tells him, because she didn't tell anyone. The only people who knew was Lisa. And as we see, Lisa's out of town. So, you know, Steve obviously doesn't believe her because, like, it's kind of crazy. And he doesn't really help her, but he does give, like, a little bit of, like, clues in the second part he's in. Alright, so I'm petting my dog right now, so if you see me like this, I'm just, like, petting my dog. Anyway, so basically, she goes off and finds the doll. The doll, like, is back to following her, and she's kind of like, oh my god, what you want? And the doll's like, hey, could you kill someone for me? She's like, the fuck? She's like, I don't want to kill. Then she bumps up into Will. Now, Will was originally going to be played by Nelson, but Nelson, you know, he has school and work, and so it was like a really hard time to get him. So I asked Arvi, and I thought like, hey, Arvi was only in like what, a skit of mine, so I thought it was like a good idea to have, you know, Arvi, who isn't normally in my videos, to be an antagonist. Diane bumps into Will, and Will is like, "Oh, hi, so sorry." Like, he's very like monotone. Like, and that was the point. Like, I wanted him to be very like no emotions. Like, there's supposed to be like very little, nothing to emotion until like towards the end where you kind of see he has some sort of issues. He's just a crazy person. Like, he has like he knows what's morally right and wrong, but he doesn't care. So, like, that's why it makes it easier for Diane to kill him. So, spoiler alert, if you didn't freaking watch it, it's your fault, not mine. So, with that in mind, so Diane goes, like, through this, like, little trip, like, you know, meeting Will. So, once Diane, you know, takes the doll back home, she finds out that the doll knows where Will is. And she's kind of pissed about it, but at the same time, she shouldn't be shocked. But, you know, she makes a deal about killing, Will as long as, you know, Brian comes back. So, the doll does her, like, part of the deal and brings Brian back. And, Diane's like, okay, I guess I'm forced to do this before you do something else to Brian. And so she kind of goes through with it. Her second attempt, she almost dies, gets choked out till she passes out. I really like that sequence. I wish it was longer, but, you know, there was only so much I can put into this film. So, you know, you got what you got. Sorry. Another part that's like good and stuff like that was Alex's scene. I know it felt forced saying her name. It's because you know, there was only so much time we had, and I wanted the people to know who this character's name was, because I don't want to go out through the whole film without us knowing who is Alex. Like, I wanted someone to know who Alex is, because I mean, it was name dropped in the beginning, and I actually filmed that scene last. Like, I filmed that scene, like, one of the first scenes I filmed was Alex's scenes. So let's just fast forward a little bit, because I'm already like, without editing, I'm already like 20 minutes in. I don't know how long it's gonna be when I edit this. There was a lot of pauses because I have brain farts, and I also have a really bad stutter, as well as my animals going crazy in the background. So sorry. So I'm gonna skip towards the end. So Diane kills Will, and the way she kills him, she kind of like stabs him literally in the back. So the part that I didn't get to film was what she do with the body. Now, I'll give you a like kind of like a rundown, and you might think of this as like, oh, like oh, that's some lazy writing, but it makes sense in a way. So once she kills the killer, there was no one around when she did it, and the doll took him with her. So his body basically pulled that Spider-Man thing when he like disintegrates. We basically did that. So that's what happened. So that's why there was no body. That's why like we didn't get to see it. That's because your boy don't have that kind of budget or the experience to do that. So yeah, I'm sorry if you guys didn't really get to witness how she got rid of the body, but yeah, she didn't technically get rid of the body, because I would have actually shown her at least burying it or something if that's what you did. But it's whatever, you guys. It's whatever. So let me get to you about a little bit of the little details. Okay, so as I said before, the doll has this, like the Alex has this like attraction with the doll. Not like a weird attraction, like she likes this doll so much. It's kind of like this spell, because Diane, if you remember the dialogue that she had with Brian, she said that she misses her. Even though she caused her nothing but pain, she misses this doll. And it's kind of like the after effects of being with this doll. This doll has like this weird energy that makes you drawn to this. No matter how much you hate this doll, you still love it, and it's like a weird energy. Other like little Easter eggs was the bathroom, like the whole bathroom of Diane waking up in the bathroom. The doll kind of gave her an option to see Brian without even telling her, because she didn't know where Brian was. So she didn't know that's where Brian was. So it was like little small things like that. Like I wanted to like, ooh, mystery, like what? So I wanted to incorporate the bracelet as a seal. I wanted to find the original bracelet, but as Diane said, she lost it, and so did I. So I didn't even know where that was. So sorry if I couldn't bring that bracelet to life and like thing to at least show it, to kind of give reference to the first one. But the dialogue was the only reference I could give it. So sorry, Bracelet. RIP to Bracelet. Alright, so a little like, before I go, I kind of want to say that I filmed this a year ago. And I kind of want to show you at least a little bit of the clip of what I tried filming a year ago that never made it out to the public because I never made the original third thing. And my last video talking about Diane's Experience 3 will be a read down because guess what? I haven't read the script in like, I think a year. I haven't read that script in like a year because I haven't like, because it's so long, I haven't like paid attention to the script and I knew I wasn't going to use the script, but I kept it around because that was like my longest script at the time. Now In Hiding is my longest script. So I can't wait for you guys to see that. I can't wait to read it. I'm not going to read it till I make the video. So yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed my crazy ass, long ass ramble. And Gesundheit.